Hello everyone, this is CyberEric with another video. This is for Delta Force. This is a quick gameplay overview and impressions of the game. We'll go over the modes, etc, etc. But before we start, as always, please like and subscribe, otherwise I'll have to probably knife you like that guy there. And again, this is just quick gameplay footage that I basically have recorded. I'll try to go over the different modes. This is a free-to-play game, first-person shooter, basically a Battlefield 6, but Battlefield in general clone. And it's basically developed by Teamy Studio Group, the developers of Call of Duty Mobile. So, Warfare, which is basically the PvP mode, one of the main things. Warfare is the PvP side of things, and I kind of want to go over some of the modes within it. And I'll start actually with this one mode. The first mode is basically attack and defend. This is basically breakthrough from Battlefield or Rush, if you will, but without the alarming of the consoles. You're basically gonna have a giant map. You're gonna have a line, and you're gonna have one team basically attacking a point, and another team defending a point or two, depending on how it goes. There's different abilities. As you see, I'm running around here trying to heal people and give them ammunition as playing as support, while we're pushing forward to the next objective. Again, it's pretty straightforward. You can see some of the gameplay here, some of the combat. Here I'm using like an ability for one of the operators. And this game includes operators, which is kind of one of those free-to-play things. It's very much a clone of Battlefield 2042, if you have ever played it. But again, typical standard first-person shooter, multiplayer, free-to-play is fun in the most part. And there's some tweaks here and there that's like the aiming is a little bit off. It's not as polished as some of the like Call of Duty, Battlefield games, but that's how it goes. Another mode, this is the King of the Hill. This is basically conquest of Battlefield. Again, this is just the giant map. And basically you're running around the entire map with different tanks, vehicles, etc, etc. And you're capturing points around the map. So this isn't like a line that I mentioned from the previous mode. This mode, you basically have an open space and you have to spawn and push the objective and take different areas of the map. As you capture them, you basically have to also eliminate the enemy team, and that'll basically have the tickets as you see at the top screen where it says like 1,000, 1,400, etc, etc. That's basically it, and here I am basically fighting a tank, which is kind of fun, but one-on-one, I'm gonna lose that fight every single time. But these are your standard player versus player multiplayer modes that you'll see in games like, again, big games like Battlefield, etc, etc. But always this is a free-to-play title. And that's basically Warfare, which is the PvP side. We also want to check out Operations. And again, this is more like the extraction mode that they have here as for the offering from Delta Force. So they also have an extraction shooter. If you never played one of these before, you go into a map, you basically grab loot, and you kind of have to extract with the loot. Here is basically the tutorial from the game itself, which basically is explaining you to loot enemies, you open it up, grab items, you'll see around the map different objectives. Grab the objectives, grab the weapons. You also have to grab them. You also have to escape with them, and you have a limited amount of space in your backpack. And that's essentially what you're going to be doing with the extraction and slash operations mode, as it's called here in Delta Force. So one of the things you're going to do here, for example, here I am extracting. So when you extract, you're going to have to wait when the helicopter picks you up, and it'll basically tally what things you picked up in terms of revenue, items, and basically you manage those, and you basically collect more and more items until you basically improve your loadout. And you can basically, whatever things you grab, you can also bring into the next one, etc, etc. Another thing I wanted to also showcase is the operators. Here's some of the operators that I want to show you. And again, this is the main menu. But here I wanted to kind of show some of the operators quickly. If you play Battlefield 2042, you'll get used to kind of this concept, which is different operators have different abilities. And you can browse them. I'm not gonna go over each one of them, otherwise this video will take like an hour. But there's a lot of operators. I have unlocked them all. If you're on console right now, there's a very easy way to unlock them. Right now, basically just log in every day for 7 days, and you can get them all. So I would actually recommend doing that if you want to at least try this game out. And again, the multiplayer is pretty fun. And there's a lot of things to do. Again, but it's more like Battlefield style. It's not like a small map kind of thing. Other things you'll see also vehicles. There's gonna be a lot of vehicles around. You'll have helicopters, tanks, Humvees, etc, etc. And you're gonna be using them to both get around in that Conquest / King of the Hill mode that I showed, or just other modes. And there's operators that basically are designed to kind of counter those. Obviously, the game is free to play. Another thing that I wanted to show was kind of like the aspects of it. And there's a lot of digital currencies here and a lot of things to click on. It literally felt like for the game time that I was in, I was spending like an hour or two just on the menus, clicking on things and basically I'm using this here to kind of get XP. And there's obviously a season pass, again, free to play title. You'll get used to it. If you want to spend money, that's your decision. But again, I'm more restricted. Another thing is Black Hawk Down, which is basically, this is the main campaign. And this, I'm only recording and showing this because this was very frustrating. This is not a good mode, and I'll explain why in a second. The aiming feels completely different from that of the main multiplayer suite. For stuff like extraction and the PvP mode, warfare, they feel differently. And I wanted to show this real quick here, which I started the mode, I started moving around. I'm like, oh, let me jump down. This is straight up purpose. If you die in this mode, there is no reload, because it's like a single player campaign. You have to load again from the start. So because it's also a free to play online game, you have to select the character again. You have to start the chapter from the beginning, even if you die. I found this unbelievable because again, that's literally at the start of the mission, no problem. I played through this. I played a good 20, 30 minutes. If you die, you go back here again to the main start again, try it all over again. And here's the problem with this mode, with the single player campaign. And I'm sorry for the developers if they're listening to this. It's like the aiming is very, very bad here. So here I am playing. You see I'm trying to aim, but right now I'm really realizing that I'm like, oh no. The aiming side to side, it feels like you're playing with a D-pad. And it's very, very bad. So I had to literally go to the settings and be like, what is going on here? And the first thing I noticed was like the aim input changes from this mode campaign to switch, where you're switching the button between aiming down the sides and not versus holding, which is how the rest of the game works. Extraction and warfare modes, they work as a regular Battlefield, Call of Duty gameplay style. This doesn't play like that. This plays like a mobile game. So for example, here I am trying to aim. Look how bad my aim is. This is not on purpose because I'm bad at these games. The aiming was so bad that I had to kind of mention and showcase that. One of the other things is also the melee. There is no melee button here. You have to switch weapons one by one, like you see here, like an old school Doom game. You have to switch to your melee to melee. Otherwise, there is no melee button. And again, just this mode it's bad. Do not play this. Do not play the campaign. There's nothing else I can tell you. Don't download this. It's a separate download. You're free to download Delta Force. Just don't download this. All right. So for comparisons between Delta Force and the next two Battlefields, the first thing I wanted to kind of show us like the smoke effects. And you'll see here in Delta Force where the smoke just disappears. It's a funny kind of tweak. It still works. It still works pretty well. And again, some of the shooting where you can actually see Delta Force. It controls pretty well for the most part, correct? Again, it's a Battlefield zone, if you will, but it actually works pretty well. Some of the combat here, as you see. So here's Battlefield 2042. And here again, moving around. Here's the smoke effects, etc., etc. It's a little bit better, but it's still obviously smoke, which you're not supposed to be able to see. Here I'm using a grenade. And again, some of the aiming that you'll see from Battlefield 2042. And there's a couple of more comparisons going up ahead. All right, so the next comparison is also the recent Battlefield 6 beta. This is from the open beta. Again, here's the smoke in one of the levels in the matches that I played for the Battlefield 6 beta. And moving around, aiming, throwing grenades. Here's the comparison. And if you see the different games compare side to side like this, you can kind of tell that they're actually very similar. Spiritual successor slash Delta Force is basically trying to be a copy of this game, so it's free to play. Yeah. And again, here's another thing, another quick comparison that I kind of noticed when I was recording was the revive feature. And again, there's a bunch of things that you can compare, but I just wanted to highlight some of these high-level things that I saw. When you go down, obviously in the games, you'll be able to be revived in all three of them. In Delta Force, you're gonna have a trouble getting somebody to heal you because nobody's used to picking you up. So Be ready to request help and not get any in Delta Force. That's all I'll say. And here it is in Battlefield 2042. I go down, and this one's more specific, right? Where you basically go down, request a revive, and I'm actually gonna get it relatively quick here in this clip because we see the medics here. They have been trained with years of experience on how to revive people. And again, some more actual gameplay from 2042, so you guys can see the difference in terms of comparisons between the different games. All right, here's Battlefield 6, the beta. Here's me going down. Again, same concept. Request a revive. You can see how close some friendlies are to reviving you, etc., etc. And you can skip, etc., if you want to. Another thing, obviously aiming and combat. This is a just quick video, so I'll probably be quiet so you guys can kind of see the idea. But basically, you can see the maps. Maps are pretty open. You're basically running around, looking for where the enemies are. If you're attacking, in this case we're capturing the point. B1. Here I'm trying to hit the enemy and not succeeding at all. Here in Battlefield 2042, you will see basically the same thing. We're trying to push, we're trying to attack, and here I am, same type of scoping, aiming around, and catching some of these guys, very easy targets for me. And again, this is more me playing around as a scout, so I'm also pinging people, I'm also tagging enemies so that my teammates can go on. I remember this push, we failed, but it was still a lot of fun. I love playing the battlefields regardless of whether we win, but obviously you always want to push as much as you can. And here's some Battle 6 beta gameplay. Again, there's all kinds of gameplay online, and hopefully you guys had a chance to also try it out. But here's some gameplay from Battlefield 6 as well, which again, you're just running around different maps, layouts. You'll see they all feel the same, but obviously Delta Force is just a little bit more raw. And woohoo, we won that one. All right, so for overall impressions, or kind of like a mini review, this game is interesting in terms of like it's a free-to-play title, but for example, I'll start here. Single player campaign, which I'm showing here in the background, it's crap. There's no better way to say this. It's a 0 out of 10 if it was a full game. However, the multiplayer itself, and again, not the extraction, but the multiplayer itself, which is what I'm in, is cool. You saw like a glitch there with the tank. There's gonna be little animation glitches. It's not polished, if you will, but it works enough for what it is. It is a free-to-play title as well, so you're gonna have to kind of get that and understand it. There's a ton of microtransactions which make it annoying, but when if you just want to go around, play around, go into a match and play a Call of Duty Battlefield clone, mostly a Battlefield clone, it's not bad. However, the problem is we've already tried Battlefield 6 and Battlefield 2042, which I think at Steam, it was on sale for $2.99 this past week. It's just a better title. Like, it's more polished, obviously. It's had a lot of patches since launch, and this game's just not there yet. It's not bad. I am having fun with it. For example, here I am trying to chase a tank or vehicle. And here, I'm mentioning this because you're about to see the worst mistake. I don't know, he's using a flamethrower against the boss. But here I am. This is the worst miss of my life, right there. And I captured it just for prosperity. But yeah, and the controls are okay. Extraction is its own mode where it seems simple at first, but it's barren. It's kind of like an open space. It's kind of empty. The menus are very, very bad if you're using a controller. I think this is better a mode that if you are interested in playing Extraction, particularly for free, there's probably other better Extraction shooters out there. It's probably better to play this on a mouse and keyboard if you can on PC. This is mostly for the launch console version of it. But for example, it's fun when it gets to it. For example, here I am going behind enemy lines. I'm really going out of the map. I'm gonna go behind enemy lines. And when you do these kind of moments, this is when it gets fun. Like where it's like, aha, here it is. I'm gonna get me some kills. I'm like, I'm out of bullets. Pistol time. And I still get it. And obviously I'm still gonna get killed, but this is fun. This was fun. Whenever this modes came in, which is what you're playing these games for, it's fun. It's decent enough. You're having a good time. Again, the graphics are not great. Look at here. I'm using the scan mode where I can scan them. You can see the smoke kind of just disappears. And there's that lack of polish. But for the most part, functions where it's supposed to be. The controls aren't that great. The level design is decent. The aiming is a little bit off, particularly if you're used to playing something like Battlefield that's really polished. But if you just want like more maps, and just try something before Battlefield 6 comes out, this isn't the worst thing in the world. So again, I think it's just decent. If I had to review it, it'd be a 6 out of 10, but obviously I don't want to review this kind of things because it's obviously a free-to-play title, etc., etc. That's mostly it. Free-to-play, feel free to try it if you want. It's now available on Xbox and PlayStation. And with that, that's it for this review. Please like and subscribe once again. And that is all for today. Have a good one, everyone.